What is up, guys, and welcome to the Strength of Body and Mind podcast. My name is Gordon. I'm going to be your host, and this is episode number 24. If you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for checking it out. And once again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I also encourage you to go back and listen to some of the earlier content, kind of get a feel for the vibe of the podcast and the rhythm that we have put together here. Now, just so you know, the rhythm is this. Every single week, there are two podcasts that are released, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. The Tuesday podcast is, it's like the physical part of this whole body and mind thing that I'll explain in a second. So it's going to be everything from exercises, right? Fitness-based routines, workouts, weightlifting. There's a lot of weightlifting stuff in there. Muscle group explanation, nutrition, kinetic chain type stuff, a lot of explanations of how things work in the body and how we develop and grow our muscle groups, how we develop and grow our bone density and our bone connection, through tendons and ligaments and things like that, and all things physical relative to fitness. And then on the Thursday episode, we dive into a lot more mindset, a lot more goal focused stuff, action mapping, things like that, things to keep you focused from that perspective. And also we get into a lot of how to keep the confidence to continue to move forward when things are difficult, and how to stay course corrected, when you go off the rails a little bit, how to come back on and stay on course to get where you're trying to go, and all things related to that. So Tuesday, Thursday, more physical, more mental. The combination of those two things is what I personally believe to be the mind-body connection, which is what this is all about. The Strength of Body and Mind podcast really exists around one core pillar of belief that I have put together, and that is that the mind-body connection is something that I personally believe I know is so widely misunderstood and understudied that it's something that a lot of people need to know about, and a lot of people need to understand more about, and they just aren't being exposed to the fact that that is a thing, and that there is a lot of power to behold inside all of us because of that. And I want to spread awareness about that, and I want to educate people on what is possible based on using the tools that you have, basically, right? The hand that we were all dealt, which is that we're human, we have a mind, we have a body, and we can put those two things together in ways that most people don't understand. And I have been able to do that to an extent, and I talk about that a lot in the podcast, and getting over some of the things I didn't think I could get over, and finding myself in a position where I've basically been able to do a complete 180 for myself mentally and physically, and gotten myself to be in a state of happiness and fulfillment and personal success that I never thought possible. And it's not because of any one monetary thing or any one possession or anything like that. It's just because I've been able to find a harmony between my mind and my body. And that has allowed me to get to a physical place that I've always wanted to be at, and actually exceed that. And then in turn, also creating and developing a level of confidence and a level of self-worth and self-belief that I also never thought was possible. Now, this is something that I talk to clients a lot about. This is something that I get into when I'm training people and talking to people. And it's definitely something that most people have never given any thought to. That's what I'm finding anyway. All my data basically shows that people just don't even think about these things, right? And if they do, it's just a fleeting thought. So anyway, the point of this whole podcast is to educate people on that, and to talk about this stuff and be hopefully a voice in your ear, helping you stay focused, helping you stay driven to continue to have your crosshairs set on those goals and to not lose track. So anyway, this podcast episode number 24, is all about that last part that I just said. It's about why putting your goals out there is so important, right? By taking your goals and instead of continuing to internalize them and churn them internal to your brain and analyze them over and over and over again and fine tune and tweak them in your own little microcosm that is your mind, or maybe, on a sticky note in your own little office where no one else can ever see it, why that does not work for most people and why that is a bad strategy. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people do that, okay? But I'm going to talk about today why that's bad, why that leads to a lack of success, and why doing the opposite usually leads to actual success. So everybody has goals, right? Now, a lot of people have big goals, and a lot of people have very, very small goals. A lot of people have long-term goals. A lot of people have short-term goals. A lot of people have goals that they have literally no idea how to assign or associate a timeline to that goal. And that's fine too. But most people have goals, all right? And some people are able to actually achieve them. They're actually able to stay focused, and they're actually able to develop a strategy on their own and figure out whatever they need to figure out in order to make sure that they get to where they're trying to go and achieve that goal. Other people do not. So what's the big difference between those who actually achieve everything they want to do? Now, we are talking mostly fitness related stuff here, but let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest here. Most people never, ever, ever, ever get to the physical level that they want to get to. They never get the body that they wanted. They never lose that weight that they always wanted to lose. They never develop that speed and stamina and energy that they wanted. They never developed that flexibility that they wanted. They never were able to lift more weight. They were never able to put on more muscle. Okay, that's just the truth. Think about 5 to 10 people that you know. Just the first 5 to 10 people that you know. Chances are, unless you're thinking of 5 to 10 people that are like avid fitness people, 5 to 10 people that that are in your life, family, friends, whatever. Chances are 70 to 80% of them are nowhere near where they want to be fitness wise. Okay. They don't eat what they actually want to eat. That's good for them. They eat what they think tastes good, but not because it's actually good for them. They don't work out the way that they want to. They talk about it, maybe, or they mention it, but they never actually do it. They aren't as healthy, just in general, as they want to be. Okay. Now, why is that? And why are there so many people that are the opposite? That they want to build a body that they visualize, and so they do it. And they want to put on more lean muscle, and so they do it. And they want to lose 50 pounds of fat because they're obese, and so they do it. Why can some people do that and some people can't? Now, I want to dive into the differences here. The differences between people who are willing to create the thing that I'm about to talk about that gets them there versus the people who do not create the thing that I'm about to talk about that could potentially get them there. And that thing is this. That thing is accountability. Okay? Successful people, especially in fitness, successful people create an accountability. Now, that accountability can be constructed in a lot of different ways, but they create an accountability of some sort. And, I want to talk about the opposite of that here for a second. I want to talk about the people who they falsely proclaim that they're going to do something in order to create accountability, but then they never do it. Now, those are like the I'm gonnas, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to do that, right? So people like that, they make a lot of false claims, usually when they're pumped up about something, and they don't do shit with it. That happens a lot. Now, it happens a lot in the fitness world too. That's why January 1st is such a weird day in the fitness industry, because there's so many people that roll in to the industry because for the month of December, they eat like shit. They go to parties, they drink constantly. They don't go to the gym, or they don't do anything physical. and they throw on 5 to 8 to 10 to 12 pounds, and all with the intent that on January 1st, I'm magically going to roll into the gym and I'm going to fucking crush it, right? That happens a lot. And those are the I'm gonnas. And some of them actually do it. Most of them don't, right? You've all probably heard this. Maybe you're one of them. I don't know. I was one of them back in college. So I know exactly what the mentality is like because I've been through it. Okay. This is like 2005, 2006. I know exactly what those people are thinking. And I know that they know, because I knew it too. I know that they know that they're not actually going to do it. But it makes them feel good to say that I'm going to do something about my current shitty situation. So that's that. Those are the I'm gonnas, right? And they put that all out there continuously. I'm going to do this starting January 1st. I'm going to do this. And that's creating false accountability. Because again, like I just said, deep down, they know that they're not actually going to do it. But it gives them a reason to continue to make bad decisions because they are dangling that carrot out in the future, even though they're never actually going to chase the carrot. You know what I mean? Now, there's the other half of people who make, like, they proclaim things. They make proclamations about what they're going to do. And these are people that create accountability for themselves, and they do that because they know it's exactly what they need. And they do it because they know they'll stick to it. They know that when they create accountability, that they are a person that is so bound to their word that they can't break that. They know that if they say they're going to do something and then they just decide not to because they're lazy, that will eat them alive internally. Now, those are people with a stronger work ethic. Those are people with a stronger dedication to things. Those are people who have a very, very close relationship with their word and their reputation and their legacy, right? Now, that might sound a little dramatic, but it's the truth. So people like that, and you might be a person like that, those are the people that actually get the body that they want. Now, I said earlier, why do some people end up getting all of the fitness success and others do not? It's because of that. It's because those people who put the word, the message out into the world in some way, and they create an accountability for themselves, and they decide that enough's enough. I'm going to plant my flag right here. Here's what I'm going to do. Right? That's my accountability. I'm going to stick to it now. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to follow this plan that I bought from this online coach or this in-person trainer. I'm going to work with this guy or girl. I'm going to follow the macro strategy that they set up for me for my macronutrients and supplementation. And I'm going to follow this to a T, and I'm going to make adjustments and pivots, and I'm going to do my daily weigh-ins, and I'm going to do all this stuff, and I'm going to do the hour and a half of work a day that it's going to take me to get where I am now to where I want to go. And I'm going to do this because of XYZ reason, which, by the way, could be a child. It could be the health of myself so that I can be around in 20 years to do this. It could be because I need to motivate somebody else in my life who is way worse off than I am, and I'm in a bad place already. And because they're so much worse, I'm going to show them through my actions that it's not all that bad and that they can pull themselves out of that place. That's a great reason too, and that's one that I've heard a lot. There's a lot of reasons, but they take a reason and they bind themselves to that reason, that why, and they create this passion to do the thing, to get in shape, to lose the weight, to do whatever. And they make that proclamation, and they outwardly express it, and they put it out there, and they create accountability. All right. And by creating that accountability, again, they are basically in debt now. They owe somebody something. And that person that they owe is actually themselves, but they're putting it out there in the world so that it feels like they owe everybody else something. They are working now for everybody else. Everybody who heard them or read that message or saw that video or saw that post on Facebook or whatever it was, they now owe all of those people who saw that to be successful. They owe them that. Have you ever wondered about the phrase that what is your truth? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever given any thought to what is your truth when it comes to fitness and nutrition and health and things like that, and taking care of yourself and your body and your mind? That's part of it too, but taking care of your body, which again includes your mind. What is your truth behind that? So we do simple things like go to the doctor, go to the dentist. We do the mandatory things that society tells us to do in order to take care of ourselves. But what is your actual truth behind that whole thing? It's a big question. It's a little heady. I get it. But, people talk about a lot of things and then never do it. And then people talk about a lot of things and they do it. And yeah, the accountability is the gateway to get there. It's the tactic. But what about the truth behind all of that? What is your truth? So if your truth is to talk about dominating your fitness plan and your fitness regime and everything that you think you want, but deep down, like way deeper, that you're going to order pizza tomorrow and you're going to go out on a boat this weekend because it's the middle of the summer, and you're going to drink beer for 13 straight hours, and you're going to eat a bunch of shitty food, and you're not going to work out for the next 3 weeks because you're quote unquote busy. If that is your truth and you know it, then why lie to yourself? Why even bother saying the message out loud to anybody? I mean, if that is your truth and you know it deep down, and you go and you make a statement to everybody you know, all your friends, all your family, that I'm going to start working out and I'm going to lose 50, 60 pounds and I'm gonna, and then you don't do it, all you did was further sour your reputation amongst those people and what they think of you. And what you did was you created in their mind, you planted a seed that I am this person and I don't live up to the things I say I'm going to do. That's it. Now, I mean, no one's probably judging you. Probably no one even thinks about it for more than a minute, but that is what you're doing. And so if you're going to go and make a statement, a bold statement, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose this weight starting now, and then you go fuck off and you continue to have bad lifestyle choices, people in your life, whether they say it out loud or not, they are going to know that. They're going to remember it. They're going to, even if they don't outwardly judge you, they're going to judge you at least a little bit. They may not think about it a lot. They may not talk to you about it a lot. They may tell you it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Like, life's busy, blah, blah, blah. It's tough. It's not for everybody, whatever bullshit reason they give you. But when you, deep down, again, when you say stuff like that and you don't deliver, they remember forever. Now, on the flip side of that, if you are the type of person that makes a statement, makes a claim, and then delivers on it and says, I'm going to do this, and then actually does it and follows through and works hard towards the thing and sacrifices when needed in order to get there. If you are that person, then now is the time, if you haven't already, to make that proclamation, to actually stand on a mountain and yell that shit as loud as possible. Whatever it is, whatever that goal is that you're going to do, make sure everybody knows about it as often as possible on every platform as possible. Be as annoying with it as possible, because if you do that, you will not fail. If you are the type of person to actually follow up your words and your statements and your claims with actions, and you continue to follow through and you continue to deliver, then you should be saying it as loud as possible to everybody at all times. Because again, that'll create the accountability that you probably need to go from where you're at now, which could be a level of success, to the next level, right? To develop to the next level of success. Because there is no end. You don't get to a certain point and say, oh, I'm done staying fit. There is no beating the game. You don't finish. You either make it a lifestyle forever or you don't. Now, there's a whole psychology thing here that I'm not going to talk about too much, but it's about being obsessed and letting it consume you versus living a healthy, balanced life, right? Those are two different things. And I'm not talking about obsessing over it. What I am talking about, though, when I say for the rest of your life and that there is no beating the game, is that you have to take inventory of your body and your mind and your current state of health every single day for the rest of your life. You're going to do it anyway, but if you give it an extra few minutes of time and you make the right choices for your body instead of making shitty choices for your body every single day for the rest of your life, you will live a healthier, fuller life and probably a little bit longer. And you'll have a lot more fun. That's true, right? But it starts with creating accountability. It starts with having your goal plastered all over the wall for everybody to see. And then once that's there and you're facing it day in and day out, it might be scary on day 1. It might be scary on day 14. It might be scary on day 27, but it will become your normal, right? And once you're working towards it, it doesn't matter if you achieve it in 5 minutes or if you achieve it in 5 years. That's the thing that most people get wrapped up in, is that they say they're going to do this goal and then they get jumbled up into how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter how long it takes. If you're working towards it every day, it takes what it takes. It takes the time that it takes. You could have a coach, in which case it's probably going to be a little bit shorter because you have someone that's helping you through every single daily action. You could be doing it solo and just looking up YouTube videos. Also a great strategy. Takes a little bit longer. There's a lot of trial and error there. Even if you're going to the tune of YouTube videos and podcasts and ebooks and all that stuff, you're still going to mess things up. You're still going to have questions, right? If you're learning all this stuff for the first time, you're still going to have to figure out your way and navigate through and do some trial and error and some tweaking and testing on your own to figure it out. But it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter. If your goal's there and you're working hard towards it, then you're going to get there, right? And that's why the accountability is so important. If you're consumed inside of your own little microcosm of you, and the only person you're telling you're going to do this stuff to is yourself, you're never going to really do it. It's not going to happen, right? Because the accountability is not there. The only person you're being held accountable to at that point is yourself. And very, 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 very few people can drive themselves to a level of success that's very high based on only having accountability to themselves. That takes a very, very specific type of individual. It's just not in our DNA as humans to do that. We just don't do it. Now, we're just social creatures by nature. So by putting yourself out there, that's going to be what creates the internal drive that you owe something now. And you need to work in order to owe this, to pay off this thing that you owe. That's what's going to get you there. So that's going to wrap up this episode, but I want you to take this to heart. Maybe listen to it a second time if you need to. But if you are at all struggling to get your level of success actually to a point where you have managed it a little bit and you're making progress and you understand it and your actions map to it, if you're struggling with any of that, the piece that may be missing is having that goal plastered out there for everybody to see. Making sure that you are holding yourself accountable to the rest of the world. And it doesn't matter if 4 people look at it. It doesn't matter if 4 million people look at it. If other people are looking at it, you are now accountable to those people. And if you have accountability to those people, you're in debt. Now it's your job to go fucking work and get that debt paid. Got it? All right. Thank you so much for checking this out. Please, if you got any value out of this whatsoever, go ahead and leave me a review and a rating on iTunes. I would really appreciate it. Also, share this with a like-minded friend if you have one in your life that would benefit from hearing this message and the other podcast episodes here on the Strength of Body and Mind podcast. And also, I would love it if you would hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Let's get a conversation going. Could be fitness, could be nutrition, could be something else, could be about bubble gum, could be about hockey. It doesn't matter. I love talking to people. If you're listening to the podcast, jump on one of those platforms and hit me up. All of the contact information will be in the show notes. And once again, guys, thank you so much for checking out the episode, and I will talk to you in the next one. See ya.